Hey guys, welcome to Electric Cafe. This is Tim Humphrey. Today's video is about Peter Gabriel, his solo work. Not so much the Genesis stuff, but I wanted to go over his my experience with his music. I think the first time I've heard a Peter Gabriel song was probably I saw Project. I'm trying to think of this. Yeah, Project X was kind of a Matthew Broderick movie. I think he did after War Games, probably like '84. I saw it in the movie theater and it had Shock the Monkey in that. It's a song about testing animals, and Matthew Broderick was trying to free the animals from being tested and stuff like that. It's kind of it's a tough movie to watch. It didn't do very well, but I just remember it so much from, of course, the monkeys that were in there and Matthew Broderick, but the song "Shock the Monkey," that was such a cool track. I played a lot in my '80s DJ sets because it's a great dance song. I've really always really respected Peter Gabriel's kind of tribal, kind of not only his avant-garde performance style, especially when he was in Genesis, and he really puts on a show, in his concerts, and he has kind of a lot of interesting instruments in his everything from oboes to he's not shy in putting different instruments. He has a really kind of tribal sound, but it's very futuristic and very primal in a way, especially when I think about his music, 30, 40, 50 years later. He has kind of a tribal, very primal instinct, about human emotions and things like that, and it comes through in his music. So his first album over here is, of course, called known as Car. It features probably my favorite early Peter Gabriel song, "Here Comes the Flood," which is the last song on that album. Of course, Salisbury Hill is on that album as well. It's probably considered his best of the first three albums that he has. Probably because it has Salisbury Hill is the most popular song of that period. Of course, Biko is a really strong one as well. But that's really solid album. It's very well produced. Sounds great. It's just so different than what was coming out in popular music in 1977. It just kind of took the Genesis to kind of took him out of the prog rock scene and put him into the pop scene. But you just had no. It was really hard to categorize his music, and I think that kind of gave him the opportunity to really express himself when he came out live, right? And then you have Scratch, which is the second album. Probably not as good as the first album. I actually probably like the third album the best from the songs on there. DIY is a really good one. On the Air, Mother of Violence, has some really Flotsam and Jetsam, really strong songs on here. And this is 1978. This came out, so a year right after Car. So really strong album. All three of these albums are really strong. I mean, big Peter Gabriel album fans, swear by these albums. And then you have Melt, which is my favorite, which includes, Intruder, which is one of my favorite early ones. No Self Control is really good. Family Snapshot, if you don't know Family Snapshot, that's kind of considered, it's considered probably one of the lesser known songs that that people really love. And then Games Without Frontiers and Biko's on here. I mean, talk about on one side from Games Without Frontiers, Not One of Us, Lead a Normal Life into Biko. Those four songs, that's a lifetime of music right there. I mean, talk about going from the extreme to another extreme. I mean, just an amazing album. I love this album. This really kind of took him into an interesting. He might have been influenced by a little bit of David Bowie in this album. You got the black and white kind of that low period, that Berlin trilogy of David Bowie, kind of that avant-garde direction he was going to, using a little bit more modulars and things like that. I mean, Games Not Frontier is just a great track. I think this came out in 79 or 80, but Super Saver series. So, you know, this is a great album. This is probably my favorite overall album of his, besides Us. I just have a personal love for Us as the album on it, except for 2 tracks, but I'll tell you about that when it comes up. But great album. I also have the nice reissues that they did in the I think this was like 2000s. In the 2000s, they came out with these really nice DG packs. So I got those on those as well. Really nice. Those are really nice compact DG. I love the his label. Was it Real World or something like that? I really like the artwork on the spines. You can easily see them in your collection, which is really cool. Which all his designs on that label has that, which is really cool. But nice digipacks, really well. I'm not sure if they were remastered for these, but they sound really good on those. And then you have the great double album Plays Live, which really, which was a perfect time to do it. Really, 3 albums worth of material. Those 3 albums, Melt, Scratch, and Car, all kind of the best of put in here. It's got them all, and then, of course, the album that they were promoting at the time, which was San Jacinto, which is a really good album as well. But this is a really good live album. It's recorded well. It's a great live album for the time. It's kind of, especially when he goes into Intruder and The Rhythm of the Heat and Family Snapshot, and I mean there's a lot of really raw music in here. It's very, not until it gets to like Salisbury Hill and Biko and stuff does it kind of get into the more Peter Gabriel known stuff. But the first 2 sides, I Go Swimming is another great one. San Jacinto is a great song as well. It's just, fabulous double album. If you haven't got the chance to Peter Gabriel and you just think, it's that guy from the So album and Sledgehammer and stuff like that. If there's any one album I would recommend, it's hard not to recommend these 3, but if you want the best of, the most bang for your buck, you're probably going to go here because this has the most tracks. I used to do that a lot when I was a kid, when I was trying to learn bands. Like if I think I would kind of like them, like for example, like I really like Billy Idol, but I remember at the time buying Vinyl Idol versus buying like Rebel Yell, or when Vinyl Idol came out in '87, I think I was 11. And so when that came out, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to buy this versus buying the first 4 albums because this seems to have the best of, and I'm not sure if I'll really like that much. Like there are any kind of hidden great Billy Idol songs, which, there might be a couple. I can think of like Dead Next Door. If you know Rebel Yell, I love Dead Next Door. And so I did eventually like him enough to buy the other albums. But if you don't think you're going to get into, and, you want to delve into something like one release, then it's hard not to say Plays Live is a good one to jump into, because you'll get the power of him live, which is a great performer live, and then you'll get the most bang for your buck with the most music on one. And again, here's just San Jacinto. I think the ones I mentioned, I Have the Touch is really good too as well, and Lay Your Hands on Me I really like from here. Of course, Shock the Monkey and The Family and the Fishing Net and Rhythm of the Heat, San Jacinto's. A lot of great songs on here. Really cool artwork. I really like the artwork on here. It reminds me of the Front 242 albums. Have you ever seen Tragedy for You? This kind of reminded me of that. And I was just getting into Front 242 around 91 when I was getting these. And then also have the Shock the Monkey 12-inch. The great thing about this is it plays at 45, and it's a 5-minute and 3-minute song version. So it just sounds great on this particular record at 45 RPM. It sounds so great. And then you fast forward a couple of years, took a long break, couple of years, right? And then his considered masterpiece comes out. This is the 2002 remastered limited edition. This is a pretty expensive vinyl. Generally, if a record gets to like $150 or more, I'll try to sell it. I think I got this on because I don't. Anytime a record gets to like over $150, I'll probably just sell it and buy another version because it's just not. I don't know. I can't imagine like trying to. Why not sell it at that point when you've like made 6 times your money back on buying this for like $30 at the time. But this is a really good remastered version. I think I have this online for like $240 or $220 or something like that if you want to buy it. But obviously a great album. Kate Bush's Don't Give Up on here is just an all-time classic. I'm not a Sledgehammer fan. I'm also not a Steam fan from Us. Kiss the Frog. Don't like those songs. They're all kind of like Sledgehammer 2.0, 2.1. Sledgehammer just never liked it. It's catchy. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely catchy. Red Rain's pretty solid. I'm not a huge Red Rain fan. And that kind of, since I don't like Sledgehammer and Red Rain, that really kind of makes this kind of a. And I think In Your Eyes, even though it's a great song, I don't care to hear it. There's certain songs they played on the radio, and if they're going to play a Peter Gabriel song, they're probably going to play Sledgehammer, and then they'll play In Your Eyes. And I just, I've heard them so many times, if I don't hear them again, it's not a big deal. But I will say, Mercy Street is amazing, and Don't Give Up. Those are the reasons why to have this. Big Time is really cool too. Big Time I really like the groove on Big Time. It's a good dance song. I like that song. But a lot of hits on this one. This sold like, what, 10 million copies or something like that around the world. And then, I actually have, can't really see it, but see his face there. That's the cassette over there. On the wall over there, by the wall. And then you have Us, right? So when this came out, I was a so-so Peter Gabriel fan. 92 when this came out, I believe. 91. I was a so-so Peter Gabriel fan at the time. This really made me a Peter Gabriel fan. And then later, I went back and got the older stuff. This is the 2016 or so reissue. Because again, the original copies of this were going for so much. For years and years, I was just waiting to finally get repressed to get a copy for $30. And it wasn't a big deal because I have the CD, and here's my original cassette, and then I got a backup cassette. That's how much I love this album. And then I also still have my Digging in the Dirt cassette single, which is cool. Quiet Storm is actually a good B-side. So yeah, I love this album. There's a lot of surprising good songs on here, and like crescendos of melodies and moving tracks, and a lot of experimentalism when it comes to unique instruments and things like that. Like 14 Black Paintings is a really good ambient song. I used that on a mix last year. It just really goes well. His voice is really haunting in that. Secret World is a really good track. Love to Be Loved is probably my all-time favorite song on this particular. So that was the Blood of Eden, of course, has Sinead O'Connor on it. That's a great track. Only Us, Washing of the Waters. Digging in Dirt's a really good track too. The only tracks I don't like are Steam and Kiss the Frog. I don't understand what he was thinking on that. It's just, they're really corny. and yeah, they sound like Sledgehammer, and not even as good as Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer again, they're like Sledgehammer 2.0. But a really strong album. This is probably nearing 65 minutes. It's a very long album, but it's worth your time. If it, Steam was probably a top 10 hit. Digging Dirt was probably top 40, but for it still eventually sold a lot of records, and it's just because people realized it's a very well recorded, very good sounding album. And here's the DVD of that. Secret World Live is a really good live album, live DVD to have. I wish it had a little bit more songs on it. It's kind of missing a lot of his early songs. I feel like it only really has the popular songs: Salisbury Hill, San Jacinto. That's really all from before '86. I wish it had a couple more songs from the first three albums on there, and it does have San Jacinto on here, but I wish it had more from the first three albums on here. Just a couple more tracks on here, and this is 105 minutes, so it's 145, so it's pushing along DVD. But Peter Gabriel could easily play two and a half hours, and nobody would complain, and you get a little bit more quality music on it from the lesser known stuff from his earlier stuff. I wish it had those songs on there. A few more of those songs like Intruder and things like that. Maybe a little bit more his kind of more, I feel, electronic stuff. Shock the Monkey and Games Without Frontiers. I wish it had that on there. But so that's my experience with Peter Gabriel, and I really don't know what he's been up to the last 30 years. I've seen a concert here and there. I know he's been working a lot with his record label and things like that, and I think he had one album released in the last 30 years, and I haven't got around to checking it out, but hopefully I'll maybe that's my homework assignment for the weekend, is to check out that album. I think it has two letters on it, sort of like the So and the Us, but it's maybe called Go or something like that, or something with two letters. For some reason that I don't know if that's maybe I'm just thinking of, but I thought I remember it being a short title anyways. But yeah, what are your top 5 Peter Gabriel songs, and what's your favorite album by Peter Gabriel? Maybe I'll do a Genesis video in the future. That would be an interesting video as well. I do like a bit of Genesis, especially mostly the period with Peter Gabriel as the singer. So thanks for listening, Electronic Cafe. See you next time. Bye.